are we leaking is the question.
Yeah.
From?
Inside the garage.
Well, there should have been a report. I see the flashing around the window. Very poor flashing job. The step is too high. I tripped on it going up.
I can't understand why the inspector, for whom this is his profession, didn't see these things.
Mel and Andrew bought a nice little house in a nice friendly neighborhood. Got a home inspection. Report comes back in, a lot of things are acceptable. However, it has a lot of problems. And we're going to go through that house with a fine-tooth comb, and we're going to make it right.
We chose this neighborhood primarily because there were so many young families on the street, and I thought it had a nice community feel.
We like to rollerblade, and we go out, we put our daughter in a jogging stroller. We all sort of go for a family run or boot around the neighborhood, which is always a good laugh.
People are always impressed with our...
It's like, kind of like a circus act or something. The house seemed fairly functional, like it had the essentials, or so it appeared.
It had everything on our checklist: 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a garage, which we didn't have before, and that's a really nice feature. But we felt the house was cozy. It had a good feel to it. We liked the windows, and but mostly the location.
We got a home inspection, and the inspector took a couple hours to go through the house, and we were present for that.
Most items of concern, he said, were, minor.
There was a crack in the foundation down in the basement.
He was very reassuring about the crack, and said, that's a typical sort of shifting crack that we see.
Yeah. The pooling on the top of the garage was visible. Again, it was something that he didn't think was necessarily a problem. When
we turned on the hose for the first time in the spring, we think probably some water backed up, and as a result, some water puddled on the floor in front of the kitchen sink, and there was a lot of mold underneath. You pay good money for a home, and it's the biggest financial commitment you're going to make, and then you try to validate that purchase by getting a professional in to check it all, and to have things go wrong after you've done that, it's frustrating. We're so excited for Mike to come. Nora has drawn Mike a poster, and she drew Mike with a saw, and that's him fixing our house, she said.
Hi, Poppy.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, how you doing?
Thanks for coming.
Melissa.
That's right.
Andrew. Yeah, I like it.
I'm Mike.
Thanks for coming. This is Kasha.
Hi, Kasha. How you doing? Good. Oh, so you're just one of those. Go ahead, Pat. You're going to do, friend. Do you mind if we start outside?
Yeah,
perfect.
Great.
Okay, come on out.
Okay.
You want to come out too?
Want to come, Kasha?
Tell you're a good girl. All right, let's talk about the garage. Come on. Since that's why I'm here. And I knew when I saw the pictures, it's just my world of what I'm used to seeing. But driving up is a whole other ballgame. That is one of the crappiest rails I've ever seen.
You wouldn't want to be on it.
So are we leaking is the question.
Yeah.
From?
Inside the garage.
There's something cooler in here. I kind of like that. Maybe we should close the door. I love my job. Okay, so everything was visual here when you came in.
Correct.
Okay, and what did the inspector tell you? Because I didn't really read anything in the report, so this may have been a verbal.
I don't even remember if we looked at it with the garage door down.
Ah, so you had walked in, the garage door is open, nobody looked above the garage door. That makes total sense. I see all kinds of leakage here, right across. Look at the corner. You're already actually molding in the corner.
Right.
Somebody's done a repair. We have OSB, we have plywood.
Oh, yeah.
So somebody's done something. Don't know when it was done. How old's this house?
1988.
1988. Okay, that makes sense. Somebody has already tried to repair this roof, and it's still leaking. So I think we need to see why. Can we go in?
Okay, let's go.
That's a soft spot right there. And we don't want that on a flat roof, because anywhere there's a soft spot means one of two things. It was just a poor sheeting or poor structure job, or it's an area that's rotting away. Here's the point where we see for sure there was a puddle of water. This shows that water sits here a lot.
The inspector assured us that it was sort of a natural process and there's nothing to worry about.
And I said, is this puddle a problem? And he said, no, it looks like a good seal, and that's typical for flat roofs, and we have never had a house with a flat roof, so we just took his word for it. And obviously it turned out that puddling's not normal on a flat roof.
A flat roof should be sloped. We want to control water. Don't just go level and expect water to find the scupper. This is what we call a scupper. This is the only spot that water will get out and get down. But still water sits here, which means this area is lower than this area.
Yeah.
So we definitely have water penetrating on the verticals all the way around, and I'm assuming at this point that window. One way or the other, I'm taking it down. That's for sure. Oh, we have a drummer in the house.
Yeah.
Who's the drummer?
Are you
pro?
Well, I've been in a few bands back in the day.
Okay. Where's the crack?
It's just over here.
Okay, cracks, you know what? Do not worry me vertically.
Okay.
They only worry me if they leak.
Right.
There's a leak.
No.
Okay, I don't see signs of water. So that means that we have a good coating on the basement.
Great.
And more than likely, 19 years ago, they coated this well. This is an electronic air cleaner.
Right.
What happens is as the dust goes through, electronically, it zaps the dust particles. So if I hit the pipes and it's dropping off dust on the inside of the ductwork and it's zapping it, that means you need your duct cleaned.
We had a guy in here at the beginning of the winter. He just checked the pilot light, but we didn't actually have a cleaning done.
You should have a cleaning.
Yeah.
You want to do it at least once a year, hopefully twice a year.
There's this plug that presumably is supposed to be plugged in somewhere.
That's usually not the way to do this. This is your humidistat for the humidifier. This should have been picked up by the home inspector, I'll tell you right now. Okay, let's work our way upstairs.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Drape a hose from the humidifier all over the floor to the drain. It's ridiculous. I'm leaking here.
Yeah.
Why am I leaking here? What I want to hear the home inspector say is I'd like to go back and close the door and take a look at this area to see if there's any signs of water coming in. There's water coming in. Obviously, we have issues. Somebody's done a repair. Water doesn't sit here. It actually moves this way and sits here.
Things that we thought were minor have turned out to be the major problems.
Okay, I read in the report, no handrail downstairs. Somebody's made some changes. They did have it there, and as they were finishing the place, they took it down. But I don't see any tie-ins at the bottom. So yes, we need a rail. So you have new floors. Yep. I can tell. Ceramic tile countertop. This is probably, based on looking at the sink and top, minimum 12 years ago they did this in that neighborhood. So we do have a mold buildup on the back, right on the cabinets. Why isn't that shut off? Did you read this in the report?
Nope.
I didn't read it in the report. That line is for an old carburetor. All right, I'm going to look into that. What was in the report for electricals? I read something about a GFI failing.
Upstairs bathroom.
Okay, and they said it was failing. Did you have it fixed?
No.
Did you read the report?
Yes.
Get it fixed. Okay, it's electrical. You got safety. You got a little girl here, right? So get it fixed. It's important. This is rather strange. What was here?
There was a window seat, but it was such that you couldn't really sit on it, so we thought we would rather have the floor space.
When we did remove that, it revealed that the drywall that it was in behind there beneath the window and the window sill was all moldy and water damaged. And it turns out when I took out one section, I realized that the drywall was so waterlogged that it just came out like paper mache.
I'm going to go check the rest of your house. Okay.
Thank you.
And, you know, I'll start ripping things apart. I'm going to bring in the right people. We're going to look at this in detail, and then I'll bring it back to show you what I found. What's going on here? It's a shame the home inspector didn't even notice that there was OSB and plywood. That's an indication that there was already a problem earlier. So we're seeing total signs of moisture. Water is soaking right through the base of the posts that are bolted directly to the roof, as well as seeping through the brick sills. The home inspector didn't think to close the door. What I want to hear the home inspector say is I'd like to go back and close the door and take a look at this area to see if there's any signs of water coming in. There's water coming in. The corner, what do I see? From the outside, we saw the parge falling out. And on the inside, there's actually almost nothing there in the corner. I bet you I could practically poke a hole through it. That was not in the report. What was in the report was that it was falling on the outside. Let's go outside. What's the height of this step here? It's 9.5 inches. What is minimum code? Not to exceed 7 7/8. So, the step is too high. I tripped on it going up. I see the flashing around the window. Very poor flashing job. Point it out. Take a picture. Tell the homeowners about it. It's definitely leaking from the very top of that flashing. How do I know? Because it's away from the wall. If water comes in, what will it do? It's wood. It will damage it. When we can look underneath and we see all the holes, these are all entrance points for A, cold breeze. B, critters. If they can get in, they'll get in. They'll want to come in. Make sure it's sealed. And I come back and I see the deck. What I'm looking at is structure here. I don't care about the finish. Finish we can always make good again. This deck is leaning this way. It's sunk down about 3 inches based on what I see by looking down the handrail, because you can see how high it is against the wall. It was not in the report. How come this wasn't in the report? That hot side touches the box, it just pop. And if your finger happens to be there, you may get a shock, you may get burned. You know, little things like this really need to be put in a report to say, bring in a licensed electrical contractor to take a look at the house to make sure it's up to par. The homeowners did pull off the drywall, which is good. But what are we seeing is definite moisture issues. We have lots of air movement on the top. So let's try and get back to the exterior sheeting, where we can see that there's definitely lots of moisture on the outside of this. Do I just say it probably is fine, or do I open it up? Guess what Damon's going to be doing? Visually, we see issues with the window, okay? The home inspector completely said nothing about this other than a little bit of drywall that we see there in the sill, right? We can tell that somebody's added a flashing after the fact. These are wood windows.
Right.
I know for a fact that was not there before. I got a bad feeling we're going to be pulling this out and doing a new window.
Yeah, okay.
So we're going to start by opening up on the inside, pull the insulation, get everything out, clean it up, and I want you to drop the bulkhead in the front so we can do a visual on the inside. I'm not going to fix the bottom and not look at the top. I looked at this. This is real simple. Let's get a couple of new stones underneath the barbecue and just pull the fascia off here, get this picked up, and put some supports on it. You think the inspector would have said the rails are like the kids can climb the rails. They're supposed to be vertical, not horizontal. Let's have them check out that gas line.
Is this a gas fireplace?
Yes. So let's have Gary take a look at it and see if he's fine with it.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Let's start with the kitchen.
Okay.
What is this?
Yeah, no kidding. That's leaking like a sieve.
That's right. Is it leaking from the back of the sink? Maybe. But right now, we know we're leaking from here. So what do we see here?
I see a lot of moisture and a lot of air movement.
Very good, sir. That's exactly it. This was a bench that was sitting here. We do see all the issues here. We see the wood that is all wet in the background. So strip it all. Let's take a really good look at it.
Yeah.
To the dungeon. Let's have them check the furnace. Let's confirm there's no cracks in it, that everything's fine. We have leakage in the front. I can already hear it, feel it. Let's find out why this is covering it up. I don't like the way the drainage hose is. What really upsets me is it's not in the report as simple things as to educate the homeowner on how this should be fixed. The one line here obviously has been added later, not by a licensed electrical contractor, so have it looked at. Okay. Now, the homeowner talked about the central vac. She said when she turned on the central vac and was using it, within 5 minutes, the smoke detector went off. First question I asked is, when's the last time you changed the bed? Because, these start to stink after a while. I've got to name a number to someone. Let's call them up. Let's have them take a look at the system, see if there's any issues with it whatsoever. I'm leaking here.
Yeah.
Why am I leaking here?
I'm going to find out.
I have water here and here.
Yep.
Oh, I know why, and I'm going to show you.
Is there a railing up there?
I'm going to show you. Someone came in as a roofer and did a half-decent roof. Right. However, if you notice it's leaking from that edge across there, slightly across the front, I think that somebody's tried to solve all the water problems and just totally brain farted and did not see that water's penetrating the mortar. I want a whole precast zone here. So you have any problems? Tell me. You don't have any problems? I'll be in Cuba.
I'll meet you there.
I guess I don't have to go to Cuba.
Cuba would be fun.
I want to go on a vacation.
Yeah?
I really do. I want to go away.
Can we join you?
Sure. There's so much future waiting to happen.
He uncovered a lot of things that weren't mentioned by the home inspector. Normally, we'd be very concerned, but we know it's Mike, and so he assures us that he'll fix the problem.
I'm not just going to do an inspection, I'm going to further investigate. So we'll call it a Holmes inspection. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to tell you what's wrong, why it's wrong, what should have been done in the first place, and what I have to do to fix it.
Big day, let's roll. We're going to be taking this down today. I want to see where the water's coming in here, okay? I want plastic obviously through here. We are going to be in here a little bit, and we're going to be in the basement, right down to where the furnace is, okay? You guys will see it. Have fun. Start with the blue sand. Get going.
This is quite common that we find this because of old carburetors that were installed or even an Insta-Hot that may have been mounted underneath the sink. Clearly, we shouldn't be leaving the line like this. At bare minimum, should have been in a box made safe so that there's no way that the line would be able to touch any of the copper lines or anything else that could be in there. It's some electrocution waiting to happen. Most municipalities are not allowing carburetors, so the townships are asking for carburetors to be removed. It's not in every single area, but check with your local area, and if they need to be removed because of a bylaw issue that you may have a qualified person remove it, or you can end up having something like this.
So when they tore down the walls, we actually found a wasp nest up on the side, which told me that there's holes in the outside wall that I have to repair. So everything's out. Now I can put everything back in new and fix this garage. Okay, this is where all the issues were. This is where the actual homeowners here thought that the outside tap was actually leaking in here. I see. Mike actually pointed something out, and this is where a big source of the water is actually coming from, is right here. You can just see that moving like that, right?
Definitely, yeah.
So we know that there's water coming in here. I can actually also see we're missing caulking around this whole sink. But I'm starting to think that there's another issue here. There's way too much water damage here to show just from a tap in a sink. There's no way.
Take a look at that supply line to dishwasher. It looks like a homemade fitting.
I
It's a half-inch copper, which been
pinched at the end and then soldered.
Soldered, yeah. And seeing this, we don't even know what's going to happen on the other side of that connection.
Right. How do they connect over to this side? Right.
Yeah. I'll test it all.
The whole test.
I'll obviously test it all. removed and replaced 2 basket strainers. I installed new tail pieces, which are a lot stronger. It's a brass versus plastic that was previously. I have also done a brand new hose clip installation with the frost-free unit that's installed outside. I also installed an additional isolation valve with a drain port in case if the water from this section needs to be drained, then it can be accomplished by just unscrewing this drain port and the water would just simply drip away.
So, boys, I know there's a leak going on here. Mike pointed out to me yesterday. He peeled off some drywall, and sure enough, we have not only air movement, we have a major leak. Now, we're playing with the idea, floor-to-ceiling window here, okay? I want to know what's in this bulkhead. Got to show Mike what's in here, and I want all the trim on here off. Let's take these 2 bolts off, too, okay? So, basically, we're going right from this corner to that corner, everything off from this side, okay, boys?
Sitting water is definitely a problem. I mean, it sit there long enough, there's definitely going to be mold, mildew. There's also some mouse poo up there, so obviously there's mice getting in, so there's some holes from outside coming inside.
Well, we knew that, right? I knew the flashing is brutal. Mouse poo. Wow. Look at that. Disgusting. There's a lot of mice getting in.
There's a little bit in the garage, too.
That's a lot. That's way too much. I don't know if that's water, actually, guys. Look at that. It's infested. Dude, get your masks on, please. That's dangerous.
What did you find out?
Now that is a big nest. That there is a mouse nest. Take the rest down, clean it up. Let's air this place out. Keep the front door open for a while. Clean everything out. Absolutely. Let's get this place ventilated. All right. First things first, the railing's going to come down. The fact that this is holding water isn't as much of an issue as the fact that it's leaking into the garage.
Right. Well, the scrubber is just a little bit high, and that's really the only reason why we have a bit of water here.
Like you're right. It really ramps up here. If you feel that, it comes up significantly right here. And I think the biggest problem is also this railing.
The problem is the wooden posts go right into the roof.
Right.
So, the wood's going to absorb water. It's going to run in behind. It's, it's sort of a bad design in that manner.
We're not using wood anymore. There's no way. There's no way that I want anyone to do maintenance out here.
Right.
Okay, excellent. Just be careful taking off the railing. You want to leave the railing on for now? You want us to rip it off for you?
We might as well just get it out of the way. That way we can just get all the roof right off completely. Then we'll know what we're looking at if we got to build up this perimeter.
Yeah. Well, this is exactly why we don't want to do a wood railing. It's acting like a sponge. That's why we're going aluminum on top of the flashing that's going to be here. Now, obviously, signs of damage on the inside indicates that there's leaks everywhere in this window. Number one, you can see it as I walked up, is this roof. The flashing was so messy. I mean, I could have done that when I was 5 years old and probably done a better job. It was absolutely ridiculous. We had gaps everywhere in it. Now, look at the framing on this. Look at the gap. That water ever gets in behind that flashing or underneath this roof, where's it going to go? Directly into the freaking house.
First thing I noticed was the humidifier when I walked in. The humidifier pad was completely caked. When I removed the panel from the furnace, I noticed right away the burners were completely dirty. The heat exchanger was dirty. So there's going to be a need, they're going to need to have a duct cleaning done here.
There's been a lot of bad carpentry here, a lot of bad ideas going over this bay window. It's one of the most important things. You have a little bay window right out front. What's protecting it is your flashing and your roofing. If that's not done properly, you're destroying the inside of your house, and that's why we're replacing this damn window. Carefully, okay. Now, can you kick the bottom out to us at the same time, MJ? There you go. Keep going to my left. 1, 2, 3, put it in. 1, 2. Get in.
Oh, we have the window out?
Oh, hey, Mike. Yeah, window's out, obviously.
Look at this, 20 years old. We have actual styrofoam in the wall. Now, it's not as good as rigid foam, but I'll tell you, to actually put that in with a small airspace, that was brilliant for 20 years ago. We did a troubleshoot on the electrical?
Yes, we did.
It's minor, I heard.
It's very minor here, and they're already in the middle of fixing it. We're changing all the plugs only because it was easier for them to change all the plugs and switches to Decorus because there's so many different types of plugs here. Frank just said change them all. It's easier for us.
Frank's a nice guy.
He's a great guy.
I also noticed coming up here that that garage roof is on a slope this way. I think this was done by accident. Because in any standard minimum code for a flat roof, they're going to level it, right?
Right.
But the brick's not level.
Yeah.
It's not level here.
Yeah, good point.
I think they did it by accident, which is to our advantage. Now, you notice how drunk these studs are?
Yes, I did.
The triples are completely not level.
Well, Jack Post is, I believe.
That's fine. It's holding the block, which is holding the brick. Look at the air movement in the insulation.
I know. I mean, there's just so much penetration on the outside, which I'm going to have to find as many holes as I can.
Well, just get that insulation and push it. Actually, take it out here. As long as we can take it out.
It's spray foam, right?
Right.
What's in it?
Oh, my God.
Well, that's the first one. There's a few holes in your house. Nice to see you.
Already? There was a time when Andrew came home to find me out on the roof of the garage in my Crocs with a hammer about to disassemble the railing because I hated it so much because it's so ugly, so I was delighted to see it gone.
So we found rot below, correct?
Yeah, we found lots of rot. That wood railing was just pulling in moisture. What happened is they tied it right into your membrane and then tried to wrap up the membrane around it and seal it that way. It'll never happen.
No, the wood is going to absorb the water. It's going to penetrate down, and that's where we saw all the signs on the exterior of water coming in, as well as the front was right where the brick is, our brick sill. So we're going to have to actually replace that as well, because water hitting that is coming in right at the center, right really inside the garage. I'm going to encourage Damon to lose the ceiling here. So we're going to pull this ceiling out because we're going to use wall-tied eco. We're thermal break over thermal barrier. Do you understand the difference?
No.
Glass of water with ice cubes, styrofoam cup with ice cubes in the same water, same temperature.
Right.
The glass of water will actually condensate on the outside, sitting in the sun. This one won't. Thermal break, thermal barrier. That's the difference. And we're going to drywall everything with brand new mold-resistant drywall. So now I want to take you downstairs, and then we're going to come back upstairs. All right? Follow me. Okay, the furnace. It's dirtier than hell. So when we're done, Gary, he's not only going to make sure that your furnace is fine and working order and no cracks and no off-gassing, he's going to clean all your ductwork for an extra charge of $10,000. And we brought in the best electricians in, really, the country. We have found a lot of small discrepancies, which is good news. We're not rewiring our whole house. However, what are they doing?
Well, they replaced your pot light over your sink, and they fixed the wire that was underneath your sink that was live, by the way, for your carburetor that no longer exists. So that's been eliminated. He pulled that right out. That's gone. There was a plug on the other side of the wall that was actually loose. That's repaired, because that's also really dangerous.
We're also replacing every single receptacle and switch in the house.
Wow. Thank you.
I'm not going to give you a new kitchen. As much as you want a new kitchen, I'm going to make it simple for you to get a new kitchen. Okay, we pulled out the window. We've got all kinds of leaks.
The window was falling apart in my hands, first of all. It took us basically nothing to pull that window out. It was rotten from the outside, rotting from the inside. It was never properly taken care of. It's a wood window. It needs maintenance. The flashing itself was so bad, and this is what's frustrating, because your neighbor across the street said they've had about 3 contractors in here to actually look at this window and was never able to repair it.
This will be coming out. We'll make sure there's nothing rotten again, and it's going to be rebuilt with brand new windows with 2 operating left rates.
Beautiful.
We're going to keep that cross breeze. You mean you can open it before?
On the side, there was a crank.
Crank didn't work, though.
Okay, your crank was gone.
Okay. It was cranky.
Yeah, it was very cranky. Yeah.
It was a bad thing.
That was on Mel's to-do list.
I love that. You're the fixer now. Right?
I expected the front window to be gone. It does look really dramatic, though, because you can see right into the kitchen with that entire window missing.
So if you don't have questions, I'll see you at the end of this when I put it back together.
Yeah.
And actually, when he puts it back together.
Yeah. Thanks, David.
Thank you.
If you have any questions, just let me know.
Okay.
A lot of these issues on this house could have been prevented with basic home maintenance.
And any standard minimum code for a flat roof, they're going to level it, right?
Right.
It's not leveled here.
Right, good point.
I think they did it by accident, which is to our advantage. As they came up, they were too high on the right side. Something tells me there was a taller guy on the right and a shorter guy on the left.
So, Dominic, we're going to go with another bay window here. And you're thinking to keep the height because we are going to do 2 crank windows here, right?
Yes.
And look at this. This is just rotted right
No,
now.
I see, understand that.
Because
a lot of water problems.
what homeowner that's not in construction ever does home maintenance? Not very many. It's very few that actually do home maintenance. They come home after work and they're exhausted. The last thing they want to do is repaint their windows and caulk them. So this is what happens. Wood windows rot, right?
Windows and flashing around the door to match.
That's right. You mentioned that you wouldn't mind doing that for me. That would be fantastic. Again, wood jams on the garage door, and if you look at the bottoms, they're rotting right out. All right? So we don't want water on that. No one ever takes care of it. So if we can flash those, that'd be fantastic.
Not a problem.
So far, we've got a really excellent slope in this direction towards the scupper. This is actually an asphalt primer. Any areas that we want to promote a good adhesion to masonry and wood and such, we can prime with that asphalt primer, and that way we can get our material bonded well to those areas.
What I'm trying to do here is totally seal this garage the way it should have been done. Spray foam first, get the inside of the house insulated, so that's protected, then you drywall. You seal all your gaps. The way it was before, it was full of holes, which most garages we see are. No garage has ever been done properly, so here we go again on another garage, fixing it properly. We're using mold and moisture resistant drywall here, which is blue.
which is really nice because when we're working with the compound, we can actually see where we've worked. Normal drywall, which has no mold resistance or water resistance, it would be white. You know, there's a whole art to everything that we do. In sanding, there's an art to it. Most guys will get in there and they want to get a nice crispy line in there, but what happens is they're standing like this. So after a couple of minutes, they don't even realize it, but they've created a groove, a line. So basically what the trick is instead of going up and down, you need to do circles always. Always doing circles, that way you're feathering the compound. Kind of like brushing your teeth. Down and around.
The way they had the railings before were very illegal. When you have a railing at the bottom, a railing at the middle, and then a railing at the top, that allows a ladder effect for a child to climb up over and actually fall off the top. So I had MJ just pull everything that was old out. What I'm going to do is replace it with a vertical railing system that's to code and it's safe for Nora. Now we're going to replace all the structure, the wooden structure around the window because of the rods, and then we're going to add rigid insulation.
The window is Energy Star rated, CSA certified. The extrusion itself is a high gauge extrusion, so it won't bubble after a few years. The low E glass rejects about 70% of UV rays in the summertime, so that's where your air conditioning doesn't work as much, and that's where your costs are kept down.
We're well on our way to fixing the water problem with the window. It's time to tackle the mess under the sink. What'd you find, bud? A lot of mold. I'd say that's actually growing fur. Get that out of the house right into the bin right away, okay? It's only surface mold. Wash it down. You could probably start adding your framing in for your bottom plate.
Okay.
And start doing that. Actually, that has more hair on it than your face.
I know, man.
There's a window between us. I think I like it this way.
It's pretty important to caulk around any window or any opening like this because you really don't want water getting in your house at all. It creates mold and bugs, and who wants that?
Deck should not sink if done properly, obviously, so we're just helping it along. We're giving it a little bit more life, a few more years, by just raising it up. Getting some proper structure down to ground. And that's what they didn't have in the first place, was proper footings down to the ground to actually hold it in place.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to hear. Look how high this actually came up now.
I can't believe how much better it looks.
When Martin was finished with the plumbing under the kitchen sink, there was absolutely no way to salvage the old dishwasher.
I've never really seen or heard smoke detectors going off because of a vac system. Clogging is the biggest problem. As you can see, there's a lot of hair, dirt built up, even around the light bulb. We all know when light bulbs get hot. If you don't clean the filter, constant problems.
This is a roofing underlayment. It's a waterproof membrane that we put on as an underlayment under other roofing materials, which in this case will be aluminum. Typically, flashings, chimneys, valley areas, they're the problem areas on a roof. And when you're using a waterproof underlayment, you lessen the risk of potential water infiltration through the roof. These roofs can be covered with various types of roofing material, but if the workmanship isn't tidy and neat and the caulking done properly, then you're going to have a problem.
The way the original roof was done was improper. So the surface now is the only way to go. They pre-drill their holes, they caulk their holes, they caulk the base of it, so no water penetrates anywhere where you're going to have a screw, and that's the way to do it. At the end of the day, a brick sill is no match against a concrete sill. It's always better one piece of concrete instead of a seam every 3 inches on a brick. This is one of the last things I have to do before Steve can actually finish flashing this roof. Makes me a very happy man. This is completely 100% waterproofed.
Nice match, get it? We can lipstick it up tomorrow.
You're going to put lipstick on?
And what did the inspector tell you?
I don't even remember if we looked at it with the garage door down.
So you walked in, the garage door is open, nobody looked above the garage door.
Evidence is always there. This shows that water sits here a lot. If water comes in, what will it do? It's wood. It will damage it.
Turns out when I took out one section, I realized that the drywall was so waterlogged that it just came out like paper mache.
This is what we're trying to keep warm, and that's why we're spray foaming this part.
Mr. Bennett.
Hey, you caught me with my hand in the cookie jar, my friend.
Yeah, I see a whole bag of cookies. Where'd you get those from?
The neighbor. Help yourself. She made them for us.
This looks better than my basement.
That looks great. This is, I think, one of the finest we've ever done. I'm really happy with this garage.
This is what happens when I let you go with it, eh?
Absolutely.
And
and cookies.
Okay, furnace.
The furnace has been repaired. It's been cleaned. The duct line's been cleaned. The furnace itself has been cleaned. It was very dirty.
And I noticed we put in a brand new central vac.
So isn't that nice?
And I heard that was totally stuffed dirty.
There's some hair wrapped around.
Some hair. I talked to him, and he said there was so much hair at the end of it, it was actually burnt.
I'm being nice.
You're being nice.
It was disgusting.
You're going to stop being nice.
I know.
All right, let's hope they maintain it. Let's go get them. Let's bring them in.
Okay.
See if they like it. Hey, good job.
Thank you.
Doesn't it look good?
Oh, it looks amazing.
Yeah. It's totally new. You see what I'm talking about? The skirt around the front? That way we don't see crap underneath it. Build it properly.
That's right.
Now, not to mention, up on the roof there, okay, that it's been completely redone. This walkway, it looks brand new, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Looks like it's never been touched. You did that right, buddy. I'm telling you. And brought it up to the proper, which was not mentioned by the inspector.
Right. That's right.
I tripped on it.
Yeah.
It's the mind thing, right? We're used to lifting our foot to a certain height. And all of a sudden, when you have to lift it higher, you trip. See how the flashing is done, and that's the way I want to see it, proper. You have a nice new window, it's completely sealed, all the molds pulled out, all the rots pulled out, it's been redone. And you brought we had a pro in here taking care of it.
Had a few pros. You'll see them in a second.
Let's go in the garage. I want to take in there first. Oh! There's even a bag of cookies.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm just going to sleep out here.
Yeah.
Oh, smells nice, too.
It's clean. There's no mold in here.
Wow.
The garage blew me away.
Yeah. Might be the nicest room in the house.
Yeah, really. It really is probably the nicest room in the house.
Now it's been sort of transformed, and we can see really having things well organized.
We made sure we put in a brand new central back. So they cleaned it all out, put in a really good one. They said it was at the end of its rope anyway.
I think it was one of the first central backs ever made. You brought it back to this century.
Your furnace.
Yeah.
It was really dirty. And let me tell you how dirty it was. And it's in the report, so I'm going to spank you. So think of your lungs. If the furnace is that dirty, now what are you renting it? Okay, so let's stay on top of that once a year. I want you to clean the furnace, okay? Once a year.
We're going to start fresh, and we're going to...
Yeah, we're going to take heed of his advice. There's warnings, if you will. It's routine maintenance. You got to do it. So we're going to definitely make note of that and ensure that we do keep up proper maintenance.
That's
Look at that. That's a beast. Not a fire hose.
I think I can hit it from here.
Fire hose.
Okay, look underneath. Remember how rotten this was, okay? And it actually looks brand new again, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Mark do all the plumbing in here and make sure we ran that new spigot outside. My son actually did the bottom, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
He did all the woodwork in here.
Yep.
While Sherry was working outside, so we were talking on the window. I think there was some sort of confrontation.
They were both bickering at each other.
Brother and sister.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're going to make sure that we keep it A, clean, and B, if it ever leaks again, you phone someone.
Not only a new faucet, but we give you a new dishwasher. Because we could not hook up anything to that old, dusty dishwasher you guys had here. I could not fix it properly. I had to give you a new one.
A new dishwasher. I feel like I'm on the Price is Right.
And the vision of the window
Look at that.
brought the ductbird forward instead of trying to put it up into the bench and created a new bench for you.
I hope you guys like it.
Do you see all that trim on the inside, on the top?
Beautiful.
And look at your screens. You pull those two levers down.
Oh, you got
No way. You pull up your window, so no one wants to look through a screen, right? No one wants to look through a screen to look at their front window, so you can lift.
Wow.
Everything's fabulous, but the new bay window is just sort of transformed the entire kitchen. Like it's just, I can imagine myself sitting in there relaxing. It's just they just did a tip-top job.
Okay, there's a few things I want to talk about. I had the guys lift the deck up. What's happened with the rails here? Do we see anything?
Yeah, they're vertical instead of horizontal.
All right. Now, that was missed by the inspector. We're not allowed anything horizontal in Canada.
Yeah.
You're allowed to do it in the States, but not Canada. Right. Here, we should use common sense no matter what. I don't care where it is. You should use common sense. Go vertical. They can't climb on it. The gas pipes. They had one shut off underneath the deck in the wrong spot, so we put in one shut off at the meter where it should be. One shut off right there. That's about the best outdoor gas barbecue outlet I've seen. You happy?
Oh, more than happy. Yeah, fabulous.
Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Well,
Absolutely.
We take care of the big problems. You can take care of the little problems.
Yeah, good.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
No worries.
Are you kidding?
Thank you so much.
No worries.
You can hug him. He spent
Well, yeah, the hug.
Here, I slipped one for you. Here.
My name's Mike. Want to shake my hand? Nice to meet you. Did you draw me a poster?
Oh, that's for my dog.
Oh, this is cute. Thank you for fixing our house. Is this me here? Is that a saw? I knew it was some sort of tool.